Hi Cancers, and welcome to your October 2021 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky coming on to talk to you about the energies coming in for your month ahead. I hope you're feeling really well, Cancer. I want to send some gratitude your way for being here and listening to my little chat about Cancer in the month of October. I hope you're doing really well, and I know it's kind of a difficult time in its way. There's a lot of great gifts during this time. There's a lot of wonderful realizations, a lot of wonderful revelations for a lot of people about themselves, about their identity, and about what they really want to do. But with that, for many people, is some kind of conflict or clash in comparison to where you're currently invested. Okay, so I want to hold space for that in this reading. I want to understand more about that in this reading. And if you're new, be sure to hit the subscribe button below if the reading resonates, and let me know how it resonated with a comment if you like. Okay, so as usual, I'm going to be doing intuitive messages followed by a week-to-week forecast and an extended reading on Patreon. Okay, Cancer, in October 2021. Something might be a little bit disjointed as I'm coming into your experience, as I'm feeling it. My words are not quite coming together right. So you might have a difficulty in expressing what exactly it is that you're moving toward, and you might also have a complete transformation that is coming, and you might sense that, but it might not quite be here yet. So it's like, how much do we trust the universe at this point in time? How much do we trust what we can't control? How much do we trust our confidence level and our new creative way? Okay. You know, I think that Cancer is seeing that a previous way of outputting, a previous routine, a previous dream even, now has to be brought up to date and is preparing itself to evolve in some way. So preparing for evolution is a large part of what I'm feeling for your energy in the month of October. Very, very new way of creating and emoting, with the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Cups both coming up side by side upright, having the Judgment card, having the Tower card. Some of you might be considering, I'm just going to say it directly, some of you might be considering destroying something that you've previously built so that you have the free space to start over in some way. And I think that there's a big conflict, not just for Cancer, but for all signs to some degree. Is like, how much do I take with me and how much do I relinquish at this time? What do I maintain and even revamp to some degree? And what do I just completely start over in a brand new way? Okay, and how do I keep both of these things? Do I move on or not? There's a very symbolic way that the universe will likely be communicating about this with you over the month of October. There's also perhaps something that you feel you have to keep doing to get by, but it's just not really feeling you anymore. Like, it's not feeling like it's a adequate representation of you. And that's something that I think you might have to ponder this month. Also, having the Hanged Man kind of hiding there in the bottom right-hand corner of your reading. It's like, I do sense analysis paralysis as a possibility, and I also think that you might be too much in the mind and not enough in the body. So I think, and I just want to give you a nice little treat here of reassurance. Through getting less in the mind and more into the body, the progress that you need to make is going to naturally manifest itself. So this period of time, October 2021, and even like from here on out to a degree, I mean, that's pretty crazy to say, from here on out, you don't have to try to figure things out in your brain while kind of losing track of your physicality. Instead, you can focus on making your body more wholesome. You can focus on a more holistic health plan or a more holistic, healthy way of living. And it seems that that will bridge your gap, okay? Bridging the gap is a big thing about this time. It's been a big thing, I mean, in this general era for like the last decade, where were we and where do we want to be and what is the bridge? A lot of us made the bridge a lot longer than it ever had to be. And a lot of us now feel a pressure to go a million miles an hour, to change things, and try to hold on to the good parts and let go of the bad. And I think that that's masterful in a way. I think that that's really evocative of wisdom, obviously, when we want to maintain what we like about a situation and then we want to let go what's not healthy or what we don't like. But is it that simple? You know, wouldn't we always have had that to a degree if it were that simple? Some of us, I think, are getting masterful enough within our, I suppose, ability to manifest that we can get one of the most poignant or most, what do I want to say, one of the highest degree of knowing what's right for us and then also knowing what's wrong for us and being able to kind of start physically implementing. That's a good focus, but I also think you can get really stuck in the mind and kind of be in that hanged man position where your body is not really exercising the energy well, but your mind or your, because again, if you look at the imagery of the hanged man, it's got that very kind of yellow, and it indicates that the head is where the energy is flowing and that there's none around the body. The body is still, the body is not being energized, but it's the head or the mind that is, I suppose, compensating. So compensation, yes. Big in October. I would take a firm look at what is a compensation for even 5 or 6 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. Long-term compensation patterns during this time are important to see. And, you know, also what you can't fix as well. You know, it was actually just the other day that I was filming, I think it was Gemini's reading for October, and someone came and knocked on my door and they were holding a bunny, okay? And this was very strange to me. And I answered my door and they were telling me, is this your bunny? And I'm like, no, it's not. What's going on? And apparently someone's like beautiful house rabbit had gotten out of the house and one of the neighbor's dogs had gotten it, but this other neighbor saw it and was able to make the dog let go of it. But he was going around and knocking on every different door and asking the people if it was theirs. And he could not find the owner. He was knocking on the entire neighborhood's doors and no one claimed the bunny. So it was kind of really sad to me. And like many of you know, I'm in a moving process myself right now. And he comes back to my door after about 2 hours and he's like, you know, I called animal control and they don't have any space and they can't come get it. And, you know, I can't get it. Do you want a pet bunny? And I was like, this was very strange. This was crazy to me. And I'm like, you know, I'm in a moving process and I can't. And he's like, okay, well, I'll go and release it into this yard and maybe it'll go back. And that was kind of how that went. And I had no control over the situation really. And it was sad to me though. And it kind of has been a symbol for me moving forward with October readings of like how we are unsure of what we can really do to help or to save things that kind of take us off guard. So a metaphor, I took this entire experience, as you all know, I'm very dialed into synchronicity. I watch every single day. I observe in every single moment of my life what's going on. And when things like that happen, like when you get like a stranger at your door, okay, this is always a really, really important synchronicity to what's going on in your life, okay? Especially when there's another symbolism there, like holding a bunny. I thought that this was crazy, and I've got to look into it more myself. And actually, my Cancer people, I would love it if you would comment below and let me know what you think that might have meant. Like having a stranger at your door with a lost bunny. What does it mean? Like, I would actually really appreciate it if you guys would comment below, because it made me think about a lot of things, and it made me, I don't know, sometimes this happens, and there'll be sometimes, I'm not like crazy, there'll sometimes be like really seemingly more significant things that happen in my life that I don't give a lot of, I don't think that heavily about. But this is just, how sometimes you have those experiences in your life that are kind of strange like that, like a stranger showing up on your door with a lost bunny, how that happens, and things like that will really kind of stick with you, and you can't quite figure out like what why did that happen. So I would love any comments below about what you guys might think about that. But I'm trying to kind of use your reading as a way to interpret that for myself, because I kind of see that with your energy here in this reading too. Like there's sort of a lost bunny vibe maybe with your experience. And what do I think the answer to that is? I think there has to be some kind of homecoming for you. I think that there has to be some kind of greater appeal to your humanity, perhaps, or you have to maybe appeal more to the humanity of others, or the imperfection that other people have displayed and the humanity of it. There's something about control as well, and trusted environments, or knowing where we are, bridging better relationships in the places that we are, so that we're not essentially becoming lost bunnies in any way. And maybe for some people it's a degree of winding down that this month is really requesting as well, like a need to let the circuit board, I suppose, in our brains kind of relax a little bit. As I'm feeling, again, I keep getting pulled to that Hanged Man card with the yellow color around the head. It's like it's too energized, it's too electric to some degree. And where this is all coming back to is that grand new beginning that is right on the horizon for you. Ace of Cups, Ace of Wands. But how, as a Cancer, Cancer being a very contextual sign, being very tied to the past, tied to security, tied to stability, can you give it to yourself, and do you trust it? Are you ready for that leap? Are you ready for that big jump, or that big transition? Because it's possible that some things that you thought might not happen to you for a long time are cropping up right here and right now. And there might be sort of a feeling like, okay, I've got to assert this claim right here and right now, and I can't wait any longer on this, because this is my chance. That could be a feeling, and I think that we need to sit with it and not think about it like the Hanged Man, but rather we need to let the universe show us through synchronicity what's going on. And we need to also be very discerning with what is compensation. And I don't even like that word, it's not really right. It's like being very discerning with what is an appropriate assertion right now of claim, or an appropriate move onto a next phase. It feels like it'll be now, or it'll be like, I don't know, a year and a half from now. And you kind of can do it either way. But I kind of feel like you might want to take all the time you can get to get your body where you want it to be, and to get your mind where you want it to be, and to kind of solve. There's something of a disconnect, okay? That's the best word. More so than compensating or anything like that. I feel that there's a disconnect between mind and body for Cancer right now. And I feel that any little harsh like synchronicities, like the thing that I had the other day with the person with the lost bunny at my door, I think that it shows that there's something off to some degree, but it's not so potent that it, can derail. But it shows that there's something like unkind within the energy, I think, because to me that situation felt like a sort of sad inevitability type of circumstance, and I didn't know how to work with that. I'm like, okay, I can't change this. The animal control is full, and why am I getting this experience? So that's just what was happening with me. And I'm like, so for a Cancer person, maybe we've got to work pretty hard on getting our bodies more loved by us, giving them what they need, and to some degree keeping close to home as well is what I'm feeling too. And some of you might have already had a bit of a migration or had a bit of a walking out, walking away, a detaching from a previous known place or experience. And I wouldn't really take it further, okay? I wouldn't push that any more than you already have, and I would work to retain familiarity within a certain circumstance, and to maybe even re-bridge previous familiarity ties. Because as I'm understanding some of these symbols that I've been seeing lately, the common theme seems to be unknown territory and being in that place without maybe knowing what's really there, without really knowing that there's like a dog, okay? Being the bunny and then being in this unknown territory, not knowing that there's like a dog there. And how can we keep, securing our lives, stabilizing our lives, keeping things safe? I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. But I do feel that your clarity is going to be day by day increasing, okay? And even from the very beginning of October to the very end, you're going to have such a drastic change in clarity. And I think it has to be mirrored to where it's not just in the mind, but it's also like within the body. So knowing what your body needs, knowing what you have to do, knowing what the general momentum is going to be, and how you want to maintain what you do for quite a while. Okay, so anyway, Cancer, we'll do a quick week to week here. I spent a lot of time talking about intuitive messages, but let's talk about it. Week 1, okay, you've got the Judgment card written down by Page of Swords. Okay, so you have a judgment to make in the first week of October. You have something to communicate. You have something to claim or assert. And I would watch out for letting like media or other voices really determine that for you. There's something of a catalyst, exterior catalyst, that can come in during that time. And you want to make sure that it doesn't change your perception in a way that would not have happened naturally, organically. So what I mean is like basically being beholden to advertising or something. Like you would have never bought it, but because you saw that ad, you bought it. You would have never changed your timeline in that way, but because you saw that person being really crazy, you changed your timeline in that way. Not letting yourself, your autonomy, be the decision maker, and basically being really disempowered. So a really disempowered place is possible by October of 2021 when we are not acting autonomously, but instead we are allowing other people, their dreams, their momentums, their sales pitches to be in control of us. Okay, so that's the wake-up call, I think, in the first week of October. There is a wake-up call. And some of you are just going to have to... Here's the thing. It doesn't really matter whether you do what it is that you're wanting to do now or you spend a little bit more time getting stronger to do it. That's what I feel for Cancer. Okay, that's like the end of the reading. I'm kidding. It's do you do it now, that big thing or that big adventure, or do you get yourself stronger and wait? I can't answer that for you. But that's kind of like what's coming up for you. And it depends on how autonomous you are and how much strength and resolve you have to not necessarily be influenced or pushed by what other people are communicating, Page of Swords. There's maybe a change or a transformation in how you're affected by the influence of others in the first week, okay? And that would be good for you. Week 2, you've got 6 of Wands rooted down by 2 of Wands. Incredibly creative drive, okay? Second week of October, confidence. Looking at your world in your hands. This is such a great time for a Cancer in the second week of October to do some long-term planning. Yes, to confidently map out what your momentum is going to be like. It's beautiful. Week 3, you've got Ace of Wands rooted down by the Tower. Okay, a new type of output. What you can do in the third week of October to save yourself hassle is to basically pare things down and get things almost winterized, per se. any businesses, any relationships, any houses as well. Like, what would they be in their smallest form of output? How would they be arranged if they were kind of being prepared for a hibernation of some kind? That's a good way to think. And creative solutions to instill that are wonderful. Yes, the third week can bring some type of like breaking force. Like it kind of feels like, oh my God, how do I make this decision? How do I choose whether to push now or to get stronger and push later? You know, a lot of you can do it now, honestly, but maybe there's another thing to create between, okay, as another bridge. I don't know. But third week, let certain things go if you can. And you move into the fourth week with Ace of Cups rooted down by the Hanged Man. Emotional stagnation is calling to be overcome during Scorpio season. So you enter Scorpio season with the Tower and Ace of Wands, and you move into it with Ace of Cups and the Hanged Man. I mean, what a pivotal month if we think about it. What a pivotal changing month. There could be pent-up emotions in the fourth week that have to resolve. There could be some kind of resolution that has to come forward. And how do we allow healing in that type of situation? I think it deals to some degree with having an inner circle at this point in time, or having a support network. That might be a good thing to try to start building in a very integrity-based way. Because if we're really relying on social media, or if we're really relying on income or money or influence or media in general to be our emotional support, or even our claim for some type of other way of living, that's going to be like so nervous and stressful. So basically, Cancer, what it means is this is a call for grounding. This is a call for wholesome people, humans, not AI, not numbers, not games. Humans, grounded people, real people. And if we can't attract those people in, there's something that we have to start working on within our own wholesomeness, okay? And there's something that we have to maybe start growing. Maybe it's time to start a garden. Maybe it's time to start growing plants and seeing what it takes to grow something healthy, instead of taking our energy from facades like online, or facades that do not really represent something true, you know, on the screen. So I would definitely, big time, I would recommend a lower dose of screens, a lower dose of YouTube, a lower dose of Instagram, a lower dose of all of these social media platforms, because they are not, to me, healthy places to base our life on, at least. And as a social media business person myself, I guess, I don't know whatever, I have to think about that too. Like, I spend so much of my time trying to make this happen, and I have to do some revamping as well, because it is taking a lot as well from me. But I love it, and there's great things about it, but this is kind of how life works. We go in ebbs and flows, right? There are seasons. It's very unhealthy to try to make something be the same forever. So that's when the Tower comes up too, when we have decided that we won't allow for flexibility, we won't allow for changes, we will rigidly adhere to something forever. That's when the Tower comes in, and that's when things get taken, or things get questioned, or there's some type of a instability and a cracking down to what it needs to be now and what the seasonal relevance of it is. And that's power. That's universal magic. That's something that we have a direct source to. But that source, what I'm understanding about in October 2021, this is not just you, Cancer. It's a beautiful channeling. Thank you so much for being here. I love that the Cancer energy is revealing this right now. Because Cancer doesn't jive well with this Saturn, Jupiter, and Aquarius. It's a quincunx. It doesn't really jive well with many of the outer planet transits. So to some degree, Cancer is Some astrologers might say unlucky during this time, but I also think that they are like the answer, like the Cancer energy kind of has an answer about alternatives and about, what is another method to not be so overtaken by certain hyper strong energies. Okay. But it's that direct source to seasonal relevance, before I lose my train of thought, that Cancer energy is so capable of being in tune with if it can make the proper adjustments, especially with electric presence in its life. So yes, I'm talking media screens and the way that those things work with our brain chemistry. I think that that's would be some great research for some type of very astute scientist or some type of someone with the proper qualifications to do so, to look into. I'm sure that there's already been a lot of study on that, but I'm feeling that that is creating so much chaos right now. And I think that Cancer is a really great sign to start overcoming that, okay? Because you, to some degree, have an outsider perspective to the way that things just are in 2021, or you have some type of like peripheral thing that in a negative way can feel like you're outside of source or something, but in a positive way gives you also the answers to the problem. Like because of maybe your peripheral experience right now, you have a better line of vision to like how things really are, or a better truthful perspective to some degree. Though, can you change it? I think for yourself you can, and I think for your own reality you can, and I think that that's all that matters. But anyway, Cancer, let's talk about that in your extended reading on Patreon. I do bonus weekly forecasts every week. I do these readings early and ad-free over there. And yes, it's a wonderful, wonderful value. It's very, very reasonable. Okay. The lowest tier is only $5 a month. And if you want to, you can check it out. I so appreciate spending some time with you this month, Cancer. I love it. It's going to be a reckoning month for you. So, linked below, center of your screen, extended reading. Let's go do that now. Talk to you soon, Cancers. Have a great October. Bye. Okay, Cancers, thank you so much for being here on Patreon.